Well, I'm back at the lot. I'm really just passing through today on my way to see my son for Parents Weekend at his school. But I wanted to come and just make sure that everything here was okay. Because on the way back down, I'm going to stop for 2 days and build a floor. I'm going to put the stakes in place and see how level they are. But I'm surprised that this thing is still here. But I think, hang on. Pretty sure that's why it's still here. It's a pretty decent weight. It's completely caved in. I'm really shocked this thing is still upright. So, nice. Nice. All right, let's get to work. One of the things I love about this Scion is the fact that it's like not very much larger than this piece of wood, but it still handles a 2x8x8 like a champ. As long as you don't absolutely insist on comfort, it's ready to comply. If I got roof racks on the top, I could probably carry plywood up there. All right, let me get some gloves. We're gonna get to work. Boy, if you could tell from that first one, it is not even remotely level. Wow, that's horrible. That's not gonna need a shim. That's gonna need like a whole freaking platform underneath it. But just for giggles. Oh yeah, that's way off. Oh, great. Can't say I wasn't prepared for that, but it still sucks to see it. Whereas this one is perfectly level. Look at that. That's not just good for government work, that's just good. Okay, so that one was done rather hastily. All right, but that's only one measurement. First of all, we need to measure exactly how off it is because my brother and I have a little friendly wager on how off it is. So now I'm going to stretch that board across here to see if it's level going that direction, which it won't be, but let's see by how much. Okay. This side is pretty spot on. Good enough anyway. I'll build on that. Now for the other side. This is the one I'm not looking forward to. Now that I've seen how bad it is. Oh yeah, not even close. The bubble would be like over here somewhere if it could be. So now let's raise up this edge and see exactly how far off we are. Let's see what we're talking about here. That's what it's taken to shim this thing up to level. About what, 2 3/4 inches? And I can actually go higher. That would be perfect. Bother. That's okay. I knew this was done in haste. Tell you what, does my heart good to see, lumber on there. Now we're going to check I put screws in the corners so we can check how square it is. It's pretty awful, but this was a steep learning curve. Not quite as steep as the angle of the wood that's supposed to be level, but pretty steep, but recoverable. And I'm learning a good lesson for when I do the cabin. Let me turn it around, show you what I'm talking about. That west wall, perfect. Not a clue if they're square to each other, but I'm frankly no longer worried about that, but it's level. All I care about for this beam base now is how level it is. I could do nothing with this side. Basically, I'm going to be building the floor on top of this. Exactly how you see that joist right there, that piece of wood, that's what the floor is going to be like. So this is going to be raised up 5.5 inches higher, but I don't have a choice. Not because it's not level, I could shim that, but it's because it's not square, and I obviously need the building to be square. That run right there is almost exactly 8 feet. This run here is like 7 feet, 11 inches, so it's really bad. Doesn't help that this one's leaning over crazy. Anyways, the problem with setting a floor on top of this is that the Simpson Strong Tie sticks up proud of the wood by, I don't know, 1/2 inch. I'm gonna have to either saw that off or shim all of them up 1/2 inch, and that would allow for me to get 2 good bolts through that, because right now this top one would just barely have any meat to go through. So I'll think about that. This one, on the other hand, is a full 3 inches too low. I got to decide what kind of shims I want to use for that, preferably steel. This one is obviously too low, and that one's just fine. 2/3 of my footings right, not bad. Whatever. It's just a question of shimming, and I will deal with that when I get back next week, because right now I got to go. All right, I'm going to button up. And just like that, it's been 4 days and we are back to get this floor built. It's almost 5 o'clock and I don't have a ton of time today because of the sun, but I have to get that one pillar straight. I've been working super hard with my research assistant this whole week and we figured out what I think is a pretty good solution, which is another learning curve. I'm going to get going on it and explain it on the way because I need to wait 24 hours after I put it in because it involves mixing cement. So I need that clock to start ticking before I can really get super conversational. Once again, I'm calling an audible. The plan I had worked out to bring that one pillar level was to use a combination of galvanized steel plates and non-shrink grout, which is super powerful. It's the stuff they use to mount street lights and that kind of stuff. Because I need to bring up that whole 4x6 to go over the top of the hurricane ties, I would need like 1,000,000 metal plates, and those are $4 a piece. That's cost prohibitive, and I don't like the fact or the thought of having that many shims sitting under every single foot. I am going to go get pressure treated 2x4, run it across the bottom of the level 4x6, just drill it in, so that's as permanent as can be, so that's raised up above the ties, and then I'm going to get pressure treated 4x4 and cut whatever wedge I need to just make each foot level, and I'm just going to be happy with that. I mean, I'm really overthinking this and over-engineering this, and in the end, this is a shed. We're not in earthquake territory, we're barely in outskirts of hurricane territory, so this is going to be just fine. I'll keep you posted. We are back from Home Depot and Harbor Freight. Yeah, went to Harbor Freight. Can you believe it? I'm just that brave. We are out of daylight. I'm sure you can all relate. I got talking on the phone while trying to find the right hardware. Bumped my head into a big old, see those bellies? That's water, just waiting to come out. And I just bumped my head into it and I got it all over my head. Got caught up talking to my mom in the middle of figuring out hardware. That's a hard thing to do. Way too many options to be able to talk and figure out the hardware you need. But I think I got what I needed. Actually, I got what I needed for this bathhouse and the shed, because the quantities I needed, 12 carriage bolts, well, they didn't have that many loose. So I bought the 15 pack, figuring, you know what? I'm going to be doing all of this again in the cabin, hopefully in a couple of months. Boop, right here. I finally did a diagram of this whole thing. Just sort of an idea of where everything's going to be spaced, really to, well, one, to show you guys, but also just to kind of space everything out in my head, just to see where everything's going to fit, you know, where buildings go, but also, and almost as importantly, where I can put things like French drains, because our gray water, which is, you know, shower, sink, laundry, that's all going to go into a French drain system that can't be anywhere near serious foundations. So I had to kind of chart all that out. Not only did I successfully make it out of Harbor Freight without further embarrassing myself, but I got a free hat. How cool is that? This is Dr. Daniel Jackson. We're buttoning up for the night. Obviously, inclement weather has come and degraded the structural integrity of our dig site, but everything seems to be okay. Dr. Jackson out. Well, here's my Airbnb for tonight and tomorrow. It's a room. It's got a TV. It's funny, it says air conditioned. What they mean is there's a duct, because this is not a standalone place. It's a converted house. That explains the price. But whatever, does the trick. Most important, whoosh. I brought that. Whatever. I couldn't tell you what kind of neighborhood it is because I drove in the dark. That is encouraging. That is not encouraging. I will say there's an awful lot of bars on the windows of the neighboring houses, so we'll see what it looks like in the morning. I find myself with copious amounts of time. It's only 9:20. Got nothing to do and all night to get it done. So I'll talk to you guys. Fixing that uneven pillar. It's not cool. I'm really upset about it. The first 3, perfect. The last 3, all over the place. Yeah, the whole idea of pouring non-shrink grout, That probably would have been the most structurally sound, but we're talking about an 8x8 freaking shed here. I'm gonna sleep in the thing for like 2 minutes, and then meanwhile I'll be building the cabin. So after that, it only needs to hold up a person showering and using the facilities. Okay, first we're gonna set the level one with the 2x4 under it. Make it level, make it perfect. That's gonna be our touchstone. We'll set the uneven one on the south side so that it's level. Not worried about square at this moment because it's just not gonna be square. And then we'll be able to scribe, stick the 4x4 behind it and scribe where to cut it so that the angle is perfect, because the Simpson strong tie is like this. Yeah, so we need to get that angle, and cut the wood so that we just want the load to go straight down through the pillar. The pillar is perfectly level, so it's going to be fine. It's going to be, I think it's going to be hurricane code still, certainly for an 8x8 shed. We're not in the high wind corridor of the east coast or the far west coast of Florida, so it's going to be just fine. The real thing that's going to happen tomorrow is I am going to slow the freak down, because I've been coming up here with my hair on fire too many times, because it's like, man, I got exactly 48 hours to accomplish this whole list of things and make every single minute count, and I end up chasing my own tail. Like my wife says, I'm cutting the lawn with scissors. And it's just stupid. Like, I was going to bring Jim's truck here tonight just so I can go by Home Depot, load up with everything, and just be super efficient. But the fact of the matter is, I need to get the foundation, like those beams, perfect. There's no point in me getting any more lumber until those things are completely squared away. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Big respect. I love this book. I had this I still have this book. Yeah, dude, these people are good. I'm gonna give them a good rating just for that. Yeah, so gonna go there in the morning, glue the wood together, screw the wood together on the level side, and then make the other one perfect, level in all directions, and then I'll go pick up the wood, and not a minute before. Once the building of the floor gets going, it'll be pretty straightforward at that point. The hard part doing this solo is, what do you do when you've got an 8-foot beam, a 2x8 foot beam, and you're drilling in one side? Who holds the other side? Well, because each side is a 4x6 beam, but resting on that is just going to be a 2x8. Well, that other 2 inches or 1.5 inches, whatever, that's going to hold the board. So that's going to make it super simple. We'll look back on this as either prophetic or severely naive in 2 days. We'll see. But just want to update you guys, and yeah, have a good night. I just wanted to walk us through, I'd mentioned this diagram that I built. Not great at this kind of thing, and frankly this software has a pretty steep learning curve. This is a layout of my side of the property. This bridge here kind of leads to Jim's place, but I want to give you an idea of what is being built right now. This is the bathhouse that we're working on, this 8x8. Oh, this gray thing down at the bottom and on the side, that's the driveway that we cut. It will eventually have gravel on it. Probably this area here is also going to have gravel on it. But like I said, this is the bathhouse. It's going to open up to the east towards the driveway. Next to it, and aligned with the front, is going to be the cabin, which I'll start working on as soon as I finish the bathhouse, like get it air conditioned and everything. Those 2 IBC totes are going to go just on the west side of the bathhouse. The shower is going to go here in the corner. That'll just be a really short plumbing run there, but that will also feed the cabin, those 2, if that's enough. I suspect it will be. And this is going to drain out to this French drain. French drains by code need to be 10 feet away from any foundation. Didn't want to dig a ditch right here and drain into it, because that could erode all the sand and start making the foundation get all wobbly. We don't want that. So the boat shack is not really going to be a foundation, and it's not really going to have a whole lot to do except hold up some boats. So we'll kind of put it over there, and that's going to be where the shower and the sink and any laundry that we do, but there's going to be no laundry in the bathhouse. In the cabin, probably won't be any laundry there either, but there will be, pretty much nothing. That's the whole purpose of the bathhouse. We're going to build this deck so that it's easy to go in and out of the bathhouse to the cabin without walking through sand or whatever the heck and getting chiggers all over yourself. And I will eventually move the boat shack off of Jim's property later down the line, and I don't know when this is going to be, because it's going to cost a lot of money. The container is going to be fully permitted and everything, These two, they don't require permits because they're 150 square feet or less, and their peaks are no more than 12 feet. Super simple. So they're officially sheds. And the boat shack, same thing. But this bad boy, the container, that's going to be my house. So I'm going to have to get an engineer's drawing and septic plan and drainage and all this kind of stuff. It costs like $6,500 just for the plans, and I need that to submit it to the county, which sucks. It is what it is. I'll probably still drain the gray water into a French drain. Anyways, it'll be there just in case we want to. Mostly because that'll help to keep this soil here moist. The container will eventually have a septic system, which is way the heck over here. And I'm putting it there just in case I ever want to dig a well, which I don't know, maybe put over here in the corner. It needs to be 75 feet away from a septic system. You know, my Stargate's going to go here. I'm actually thinking of getting a little alien. They have alien lawn art at this place, you know, maybe a half hour away. Always wanted to get that. Looks just like a Area 51 alien. But we're going to put in red maple, Japanese maple, that sort of thing. Actually thinking of lining both sides of the entranceway with maples, just because that would be kind of a cool canopy. But anyways, just wanted to share this so you can sort of get the big picture of what's going on. This is what we're doing right now. This is hopefully going to start by the end of the year, and who knows? Gotta save some pennies for that. The container's not much. It might be $2,000, and I need to learn how to weld. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Tell me this isn't the greatest sign to have along a state road. Okay, day 3. Hopefully not going to be here super long this morning. I'm just here. I'm going to take all the time I need and get this angle figured out, get everything level, and then go get some wood. Already got the truck primed, ready to go. So I guess first I should probably start by getting all the water out of there, because you know I'm going to dump that right down the back of my neck. So, all right, getting going. So we've hit a milestone, and I wanted to share. So, yep. We've got the first permanent bolt. Well, bolts bolted through. They're not fully tightened. I'm not even sure if I have the right wrenches for that, but that's freaking solid. So, on to the next 2. And then I get to deal with that piece of crap. So I figured I'd do a close-up on how I'm going to conquer this bad boy. Naturally, I have a tool that does this, but I left that back in South Florida, so I just kind of created this jig. It'll sit down in here, and then this thing pivots, and then whatever that angle is, I just draw that right onto... I need one more level. Something in my beard. Okay, this. Do a little fine tuning. All right, that's our angle. And just to be sure, I'm gonna mark the crap out of it on both sides. My only fear is maybe this is too long. Yeah, I'm gonna go cut that. Yeah, since this was sticking out too far, the plate here is, you know, leaning down towards the cement. So there's actually bits of cement here that are higher than the bottom of this plate. That's not what we want to measure. So we'll do it again. Good thing we checked, because that last one was not correct. I'm going to make a new line, then we'll double check again. Why? Because we're making sure this crap is 1000% right. I know you can't be 1000% anything, but we're going to attempt it. What the freak is that? Holy crap! I don't know what you are, dude, but you got no business falling on my shoulder. Well, now there's two of you. Hopefully you don't like swarm up like Devastator. Man, imagine a bug coming and jumping on a guy when he's trying to do precision measurements. All right, we're good. So we are getting close. I don't have the power tool to, like if I had anything, a grinder, a planer, or anything, this would be a lot more precise, but I don't. My Sawzall made a complete hash of it, so I'm just gonna sort of dig away with it with my draw knife. We're bloody close. Yeah, this is not what a draw knife is for, but honestly, I don't even have like, oh, I have a file. Draw knife, you're awesome, but I got something better. So close, I could almost build on that. Thought I was losing my marbles. Although there's a very good chance that that ship has already sailed. Wow, that's solid. If I had a hospital a lot closer, I would try to balance on that just to show you. Alrighty. Moment of truth. Okay, dude. You? I don't know what is up with your kind. That's the second one of you that's tried attacking me today. I got nothing against you personally. Just stop flying at me. All right, good. What time is it? Shoot, it's 2:30. I am way behind. That's okay, because I knew this was going to be the part that took time. Yes, now I'm regretting being so freaking fastidious about drilling in all the screws, because now I got to undo them. That is ugly. Yeah. The bad side has been slain. Look at that. That is good, not just for government work. Now my concern is that doesn't provide a lot of meat for this thing to go into. Not happy about that at all. So we're gonna have to get a bracket that goes up this side. Matter of fact, we're probably gonna ignore this altogether. The other tool will be better. All right, so I cut the piece just a little bit more narrow than a 2x4, and it's right where I want it. 5 of the 6 posts down. Now I just gotta determine what the freak height that is. All right, one last thing before I go and get the lumber. So this side is all bolted down. But the last piece is that I need to slide these shims in between bottom 2x4 and the plate of the Simpson Strong Tie, because there's a gap. So that's what I got these 1/8 inch shims for. And it looks like right now 3 is the magic number. Okay, we'll see how those do. I have no way of... I guess I should. Oh, well, that's the end of that adhesive. Okay, I gotta go figure out how I'm gonna like do anything. Stand up, turn on my spigot. Well, I can't turn off my phone. Got all the footers in, bolted in, except this end one because it's too small to bolt in. I guess I can get one screw in there. Yeah, so this one will be wood glued to the top one. No screws because it's going with the grain and that would just split. but everything else is solid. I still need to cinch. Yeah, freaking bug just jumped on my neck. Anyways, long story short, I'm off to get the freaking wood. So be back. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of what life off-grid looks like before you get your solar hooked up. And this is why it's important right now for me to either stay at an Airbnb or drive to my friend's house 2 hours away, because all this stuff needs to be recharged. The Jackery, that recharges in the car. It's just in here because I'm kind of in a crappy neighborhood and I don't trust it sitting out there. But I've got my Porter cable stuff here charging. This battery waiting to be charged. This is for my drill, Sawzall, and jigsaw. This is for my skill saw. This little guy stole that idea from work because we used something similar to this to charge, you know, all of our event stuff. So it's like, wow, that's a great idea. So charging my AirPods. Actually, this is a power pack that I use to charge all my GoPro stuff when they die, when I'm on the road, and the Jackery's charging. The Jackery, I usually reserve that for charging big stuff like batteries. So anyways, that's hooked up to my MacBook charger because it's got a heck of a lot more juice than this. I think that's like 110 watts, and my 3 GoPros, and this recharges mic. So yeah, fun stuff. I'm gonna go hit the shower because I stink. Well, good morning. Day four. Got here a bit earlier today. Wow, it's a gorgeous day. Everything is dew soaked. Woke up, it was 59 degrees. Right now it's about 63, and that is working weather if you ask me. All the lumber is still on the truck. You know, you never know. People here that like to take advantage of their government issued 5-finger discount. Didn't know if somebody would help themselves to my lumber. I'm gonna get going boxing out this floor. So try to keep up. All right, well, I just got back from town. I was having a hard time getting this box straight. There's just a lot of freaking variables here. It doesn't help that the beam's not square at all. I spoke to Jim, and he said, as long as you've got the 16-inch on center, like the joist sections marked properly, that it will just sort of squarish itself. That makes sense. And I did take the time when here, let me show you what I'm talking about. When I was laying out the 2 rim joists, I laid them next to each other and marked. That's the 16-inch on center, and that's where the edge of the board joist will be. So those should line up perfect. So I'm going to get to work. Just got a new saw blade because I want these things to be as clean a cut as possible. Yeah, the suckwad thing is I'm fighting off a cold. So far, it's not making me feel bad. It's just, you know, sore throat, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully I can get this knocked out pretty quick because I like to hit the road. So I will keep you posted. All right, so I am pulling the plug on this weekend. I've got all of the Simpsons strong ties in, both the Hurricane brackets as well as these super cool, whatever the freak, massive bajillion-inch, bajillion-pound rated screws. The only thing I have left to do is I need to put this chicken wire all across the bottom with that staple gun, which isn't holding it in. And then I need to cut this insulation to fit into these slits here, and then just... The only problem is I've hit a wall, like a physical wall. I just did the blocking here and felt like dying after that. Like I said, I got a cold or something. I've been here since 8:30, sorry, it's almost 5, so I'm ready to tip over. So I'm just gonna put the insulation under here, put a lot of heavy crap on top of it because it is super light, and I will drill these into place so my floor will essentially be done, just not insulated. So that's super exciting. I'm okay walking away from this because really I need a whole nother day to do this, and I don't have one. Yep, I'm gonna button up and then I'll come finish her off. Well, it's time to go. I'm laying on my floor, unlike the night before. I was trying to do something with Cure Lyrics, but there's no stranger lying next to me. Thank heaven, that would be freaky. And with the homeless population up here, that would be like really bad. I got a hammock hanging next. Anyways, so everything's buttoned up. I just got to put the tarp on this, but first I wanted to film me doing some sort of a one-armed snow angel. Frankly, I don't have the energy to do a full snow angel. Yep, pretty happy. I'm going to switch the car. No, first I'm going to put the tarp on this, take the tarp off of the canopy because I don't want it collecting water just to dump on this. Then I'll switch the cars and get out of Dodge. Alrighty, good week. Thanks for coming along. That is the final product. I mean, the floor is, for all intents and purposes, done, but I am going to pull it up when I come back to do the walls so that I can get that insulation, you know, put up there properly, and then I'll sink 2.5-inch screws into there instead of the 1.5-inch spacks I got in there right now. But it's good enough. All right. I know I built a floor. Oh man, whew. That's some good camouflage. I mean, your eyes just slide right over it. This is like Diagon Alley. Anyways, we're all buttoned up. Cars are swapped, tarps off, and I'm ready to hit the road. Thanks again for coming along this week. This floor project has been kind of humbling. I was telling Jim I've never built a floor before. I've done walls and all sorts of woodworking. Never a floor, certainly never a foundation with concrete. So this is all stuff I'm filing away for when I build the cabin. Anyways, heading home. Well, heading to my friend's house. As my son says, see you guys on the flip side.